Okay, so as a class, we were trying to convince ourselves how we might clean up miles per gallon per 1 over pounds, which is kind of a clunky sort of unit. So just to clean it up a little bit, let me change my notation a little bit. Put a bracket here. Whoops, not that kind of bracket. This kind of bracket. So I have this whole quantity that represents the slope. I want to clean up just the unit. It's miles per gallon times divided by 1 over pounds. And hopefully you can convince yourself that the equivalent way of saying that would be miles per gallon times pounds. And if you're not convinced of that, see me and we can talk about it. Now the advantage to putting it that way is if you think about how you would use this equation, if you plugged in a weight value here and took the inverse and multiplied by this coefficient, pounds would cancel. You'd be left with miles per gallon as your unit when you multiply this coefficient times the inverse of some weight. And you could do that for any weight vehicle, and this model predicts what the highway mileage would be. Okay, so that's the usefulness of doing this. We've taken this limited data set and now we can use it to make predictions about really any vehicle if we know its weight in pounds. One other thing I wanted to note is although we use this linearized graph to come up with this equation itself would be a curve, and in fact it would fit the curve that we saw in the initial data set here. Okay, so that's an important thing to note, that what we're really trying to do is come up with an equation for a curve that fit that initial data set, and that's something that we'll talk about more in class as we move forward.